There has been a family of 3 living in my attic for a decade. I didn't notice it at first. I'd lived in my house for years, and the creaks, groans, and sighs of the old wood became a kind of background music I hardly registered. Houses talk, people say. They expand and contract with the seasons, pipes chatter, air ducts moan. That's what I thought I was hearing. But I was wrong. So very wrong. It started with little things. Food disappearing from the fridge, just small amounts at first, a few slices of bread, an apple, a carton of eggs that went bad faster than they should have. I thought maybe I'd forgotten eating them. Maybe I'd left the door open. Then, cash went missing from my wallet. Not the whole thing, just bills here and there. It was easy to write off. I told myself I misplaced them. I told myself I was scatterbrained. But then came the nights. The noises changed. No longer just the pops and creaks of settling wood, but something heavier. A dragging sound across the attic floor. The faint thump of a footstep. Then whispers, soft as sighs, threaded through the silence of 3 a.m. I'd lie in bed with my blanket pulled to my chin, heart hammering in my chest, telling myself it was the wind. But it wasn't the wind. The turning point was the photograph. I found it tucked into a book I hadn't opened in years. A Polaroid. My living room, perfectly centered in frame. I was in the photo, sitting on my couch, watching TV. But I hadn't taken it. I had no memory of anyone else being there. Worse yet, the angle, it was from above. From the vent that led up into the attic. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I sat in my chair with every light in the house on, clutching a kitchen knife, listening. And when the house finally went quiet, when even the traffic outside faded, I heard it. The unmistakable sound of laughter. Soft, childlike, coming from directly above me. The next day, I bought a lock for the attic door. A thick, heavy-duty deadbolt. It made me feel better, like I had taken some control. But that night, around 2 in the morning, I woke to a loud crash. I ran into the hall and saw the attic door swinging wide open. The lock wasn't broken. The screws had been removed. From the inside. That's when I called the police. 2 officers came out, searched the house, climbed up into the attic. They shone their flashlights around, poked through the insulation, checked for signs of an intruder. They found nothing. No one. No footprints. They told me I was probably experiencing stress. Maybe sleepwalking. One even suggested I see someone. I wanted to believe them. God. I wanted to. But when I followed them up there, I saw something they didn't. In the corner, pressed into the insulation, was a small pile of items. My missing wallet. Crumpled food wrappers. A child's doll I didn't recognize. And beside it, scrawled on the wooden beam in jagged letters, was a message, "We live here too." I moved out for a while after that. Stayed with a friend across town. I told myself I was done with that house. I'd sell it, cut my losses, start over. But the house didn't let me go so easily. Every time I tried to finalize the sale, something went wrong. Paperwork got lost. Inspectors refused to go into the attic. Once, a potential buyer went upstairs to look around and came down pale and shaking, refusing to say what he'd seen. He left without another word. No one ever made an offer. Eventually, I was broke. I had to move back in. I told myself I'd confront whatever was up there. Set traps, cameras, something. But the moment I stepped back through the front door, it was like I was trespassing. The air was heavier, thick with a musty, sour smell that clung to my clothes. The temperature upstairs was colder than it should have been, and the walls seemed to hum, like they were full of bees. That first night back, I heard them again. Louder this time. A man's voice, low and raspy. A woman's voice, singing something tuneless and broken. And the child, always laughing. The sound filled the air vents, snaking down into every room. I couldn't escape it. I set up cameras the next day, cheap motion sensors with night vision. I placed them in the attic, trained on every corner. That night, I watched from my laptop as the feed went grainy and distorted. And then, clear as day, shapes moved into frame. 3 figures. A man, gaunt and hollow-eyed, wearing clothes that looked decades old. A woman with stringy hair and a slack, twisted smile. And a small boy clutching the doll I'd seen before, its glass I cracked. They stood in the attic, swaying slightly, their heads all turning in unison toward the camera. Then the feed cut to static. I didn't sleep. Couldn't. I sat frozen in front of the screen, waiting. Hours later, the feed flickered back. The camera showed my bedroom. The 3 of them standing around my bed, staring down at the empty covers. I smashed the laptop and ran. But I couldn't leave. Something pulled me back every time. It wasn't just fear anymore. It was something deeper. A tether. Like the house had dug its claws into me. I'd wake up places I didn't remember going. Standing in the attic with the family of 3 just a breath away. Their eyes wide and unblinking. Their mouths twitching like they were trying to speak but had forgotten how. And then I started remembering things. Not dreams. Memories. Memories I shouldn't have. Sitting cross-legged in the attic as a child. Listening to the woman sing. Sharing food from my own fridge with the boy. Nodding off to sleep under the watchful gaze of the hollow-eyed man. These weren't mine. They couldn't be mine. But they felt real. One night, I woke to find myself in bed. But I wasn't alone. The boy was lying beside me, doll clutched to his chest, eyes wide open and unblinking in the dark. His breath was slow, steady. He didn't move. Neither did I. Hours passed before the first light of dawn made him fade away, like smoke dissolving in air. I tried burning the attic. I poured gasoline, lit a match, watched the flames climb. The fire roared, filled the house with choking black smoke. But when I stumbled outside, coughing, the house wasn't burning. The windows glowed faintly, like candlelight, and then went dark again. When I went back in, everything was untouched. Not a single scorch mark remained. That was when I realized they weren't just living in the attic. They were the attic. They were the house. And I wasn't living there with them. I was living there for them. It's been weeks now. Or months. Time doesn't work right anymore. I hear them constantly. The woman's lullaby echoes through the vents. The man whispers in the walls. The boy runs through the halls at night, giggling. I don't leave the house anymore. I don't think I can. I understand now. There has been a family of 3 living in my attic for a decade. And soon, there will be a family of 4.